So hi Rebels. For those of you that are new to the group, I'm Michelle Hillstrom. I am a new adult and paranormal romance author, and this is my group that's hosting the Spooktober party. So we had a little bit of downtime here between 5 and 5:30. So I thought I would read to you guys the first episode from my Kindle Vella, Seducing the Vampire. So my internet has been a little bit glitchy the past couple days, so hopefully we can make it through this video without losing the Wi-Fi. So Seducing the Vampire is an erotic paranormal romance, and this is episode 1, Rebel Girl Freya Point of View. It was a blood-cursed day, the day that your mother left you on our doorstep, Freya Stallard. Magister Estrid scolds me in her raspy voice that's gone hoarse from years of overuse. Magister Estrid's vile words used to hurt me, but over the 21 years that I've been at the House of Mate Mortems, or the House of the Fated Mates, these words have been said to me more times than I can count. And the barbs of the words no longer sting my skin. You'll bring shame to our holy institution. You're not fit to even be mates with the lowest of squires. Never has one of my postulants not been mated with a high-ranking immortal. And tonight my legacy, the legacy of all Mate Mortems, will be tarnished when the Oracle Well deems you unfit to be mated. I bite my cheek and twist my hands into the skirts of my robes. As a Mate Mortem of the 21st year, my robes are made of black velvet with 21 rows of red roses embroidered on my long bell sleeves. I count each row of roses in my head in an attempt to keep myself from talking back to Magister Estrid as she continues her tirade against me. These tirades have been known to last for an hour or more. As a child born on the night of a full moon, I was turned over to the Order of Mate Mortems only 3 months after my birth, as decreed by the sacred laws of Lyali, the goddess of fated mates. A Mate Mortem is a mortal training to be mated with an immortal. In Moonbright Hollow, the capital city of Moonbright Kingdom, most of the immortals are of the vampire race. But there are also shifters, fae, and sorcerers. Mate Mortems must be trained to be a proper mate to any immortal the Oracle declares as their mate, and each race has different requirements. Stop fidgeting. Magister Estrid's face is now red with anger and the exertion from her long-winded lecture. Her wrinkled but elegant face looms down at me from where she stands behind her desk. At 5 feet 4 inches tall, I am the shortest Mate Mortem in my year, and Magister Estrid stands a good 5 inches taller than me. She is tall, willowy, and graceful, like most of the females in the order. I am the opposite of everything that is expected of Mate Mortems. I am short and curvy. A Mate Mortem is expected to be willingly submissive, demure, and obedient. I am stubborn, obstinate, brazen, and rebellious. I hate sitting through our long classes and lectures. I can't sit still for more than 10 minutes. I'd rather be outdoors than inside, moving, dancing, hunting, riding horses, even cooking or doing chores rather than sitting still and playing the prim and proper lady that I am supposed to be. My first thoughts are not for the needs of others, which goes against the conventions of Mate Mortems being selfless. The Magisters call me selfish, but I believe that sometimes you must take care of yourself first. I don't understand what's wrong with wanting something for yourself. Mate mortems are supposed to be covered from head to toe at all times, even during the hottest seasons, which is why we wear these long and heavy robes. No one is allowed to see our flesh, except for our future mates. We are all virginal in every way. Our skin has never seen the sun, our lips never kissed, and we have certainly never had sex nor allowed an immortal to imbibe our blood. Since most of us in the Moonbright Kingdom will be mated with vampires, that is especially important. These are the few codes of conduct that I have never broken. Do you have anything to say for yourself, Freya? Magister Estrid addresses me once more. We are in her office on the top floor of the administration tower of the House of Mate Mortems. The room is as stuffy and uptight as the Magister. All of her windows are closed, preventing the cool harvest air from freshening up the room. The heavy velvet curtains are pulled closed, blocking out the sun. The room smells of tea, mothballs, and residual fireplace smoke. It takes every ounce of my self-control not to stomp over to one of the windows and throw it open, my lungs longing for fresh air. All the furniture in her office is stiff and uninviting. Not that it matters, as she has never asked me to sit when she calls me into her office, which has been a lot. I've lost count of how many times I have been disciplined for my insubordination in this office over the last 21 years. This time, I'm being scolded for something I haven't even done yet, single-handedly tarnishing the reputation of Mate Mortems everywhere in the Moonbright Hollow House of Mate Mortems. All I can say, Magister, is that I will do my best not to let you or any of my fellow Mate Mortems down tonight. I'm as ready to be out of this house as you are ready for me to be gone. Either way, no matter what the Oracle declares tonight, we will be done with each other. I will either be my mate's problem going forward, or I will be disgraced and on my own. I try not to grin and keep the hope out of my voice. On my own. How I long for it. For freedom, to have no one to answer to but myself. To be my own person, not just some immortal's mate. Who gives a sorcerer's wart if I'm disgraced? Thank the gods for that, Magister Estrid praises, and a look of peace washes over her face. You're dismissed to go finish preparing for this evening. Thank you, Magister. I bow and exit through the heavy wooden door that leads out to the main administration office area, where my friend Shalise is waiting for me. Shalise is also a Mate Mortem in her 21st year. Thank you so much for your advice, Scribe Harold. Shalise ends her discussion with the scribe when she sees me walk out of Magister Estrid's office. Shalise's smile is warm and friendly as she glides around the scribe's desk and waits for me at the end of the hallway that will lead us back to our living quarters. Shalise Sommerfeld arrived at the House of Fated Mates only a few weeks before I did. According to the Magisters, she fit in immediately. A true-born Mate Mortem through and through. Shalise was a happy and quiet baby. She never fussed the way that I apparently did, obedient from the start, whereas I was a fussy baby that cried all the time, always wanted to be held, and refused to stay in my crib or obey the nurses that were tasked with raising us until we were old enough to begin attending classes. Shalise is the perfect, picturesque model of everything that a Mate Mortem is supposed to be. Tall and willowy with a pleasant face. Her skin is darker than mine, as is her tightly curled hair that she keeps hidden under a wimple like the rest of us. I only know that her hair is dark and curly because of a few stray pieces that peek out from the head covering on occasion. She naturally lives and breathes the core values of what it is to be a mate mortem: kind, selfless, obedient, demure, ladylike, and submissive, graceful, and well-mannered. But despite our differences, Shalise has always been my closest friend in the house. Her kind and generous nature seems to love and accept everyone, just as they are, even my cursed and rebellious self. She has remained at my side as a loyal friend, my only friend, even when every other mate mortem in our year has ostracized me in fear that my poor behavior and reputation would rub off on them and ruin their chances of being well-mated. Another heart-to-heart with your favorite magister, Shalise teases me when I join her at the stairs. Her voice is light and feminine like tinkling fairy bells. Yes, I will surely miss these delightful conversations, I retort dryly as we descend the dimly lit, winding stairs of the tower. What words of wisdom did she impart upon you today? She was just reminding me that if I fail to be mated with a high-ranking immortal tonight, I will bring shame to the whole order of mate mortems, I grumble. As if you have any control over who fate will mate you with, Shalise lets out an unmate mortem snort. Shalise, you and I both know that I have done absolutely everything in my power to ensure that I am in no way qualified to be mated with any immortal, let alone a high-ranking vampire that most of us will be mated with. I despise vampires more than any other immortal, and the last thing I want is to be fated to serve one for the rest of my life. A familiar burning hatred rises up within me. Shalise chuckles and smiles at me, her golden eyes sparkling like the coins tossed into the fountain at the temple of the god of abundance. So you really think that it's that easy to change your fate? Think that the gods didn't know what they were doing, choosing you to be born on a full moon? Lyali chose you to be a mate mortem for a reason. Once our steps on the stone floors echo through the halls as we enter our living quarters. I don't know what I believe, to be perfectly honest, Shalise. Sometimes I think fate and the gods are just made up ways for people to control us. Shalise gasps, raises her hand to her chest, and pauses in front of her dormitory door. Take that back before one of the gods strikes you down, Freya. Hurry, say 3 devotions of grace. You say them for me, I encourage her as I cross the hall to my own doorway. I'm sure the gods will hear them and grant them quicker coming from you than they would from me. I enter my dormitory door and push the door shut behind me with a sigh. I rest my back against the door and tilt my head back, enjoying the sanctuary and solace of my room, alone and in the peace and quiet, away from the eyes of everyone judging me for being different, allowing myself only a few moments of quiet and stillness. I straighten again and push my shoulders back, raise my head and school my features, preparing myself for battle, or tonight's mating ceremony. Same thing in my mind. By the end of the night, my life will change forever. By the end of the night, I will either be free or doomed to spend a life with an immortal that I hate, doomed to mindless, boring life as a fated mate, or finally free to be my own person, live my own life, and make my own choices. And that's the end of chapter 1. My family is coming home right now. I hear them coming through the door, so it's time for me to go. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Seducing the Vampire. You can find it on Kindle Vella. I'll be uploading more episodes later in a couple days. So, thank Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're enjoying this Spooktober party. Stick around. There's a lot more still left. Don't forget to enter the giveaway to win a free Spooky Tea t-shirt. And again, there's a lot more coming up for the rest of the party tonight. I'll be back again at 9:30 to announce the winner of the giveaway. Happy Spooktober, everybody. Bye.